Hello and welcome to Oak City. This is FS25. We are going to be starting a new farm today. New farmer, new farm, all the above. So we will be jumping into our trusty old truck here that we got started with, and we will get to going. This is, take a look really quick, giant map, 4 times size map, so it is big, has 480 some acres of fields already put in, and then as you can see, tons of surrounding wilderness. So we have plenty of room to grow, excuse me. So with the new Plains and Prairies DLC, that's kind of going to be the goal here, is to just build a gigantic farm that's going to take up as much of the map as we can do. So we are going to cruise over and see what we get started with. The old nice classic truck here. Say, kind of digging on this one. International, old school. Whoa, where are you going, bub? Alright, dude. Traffic on, all the rest of that stuff on. The one thing we have done kind of to aid us along in the process, obviously taking over the map is going to be a big project, so we have turned off the seasons are turned off and stones are turned off, so we don't have to deal with those. But other than that, we have everything turned on, and just gonna see how all that goes. This our starting farm. I guess we can kind of cruise around it a little bit. We have a couple of garages here, a couple of combines and equipment. I do think we are probably gonna have a field sale here and get rid of most of that to start. We have a bale and pallet storage over there that comes custom with the map. Grain bins, barns, little house there. So a lot of this we will be changing out and making our own. Alright, let's get into things. We'll get our truck put away. We'll be hanging on to that for a hot minute. Starter is in a rough shape here. Nice old international startup sound. Alright, man. Whoop. Turn that off. Sweet. Parked and put away. That is our starting home. So, place to lay your head and change your clothes. So, with that, kind of run up here, start with the new equipment. We do have, I suppose there's a header trailer around here for that too. Yeah, definitely is. Field sale. What do we got for tractors? I think we have quite a bit in here. Thing is, with the new DLC, I want to turn around and kind of get started with that equipment. So I don't know if we just, let's just call it auction prices and sell everything where it sits and not worry about taking it in to sell it. How about we just do that? We'll call it a field sale. And then what we get to start with is what we end up getting to start with. We'll just do that. Decent tractors here, can't complain. Honestly, they start you with the new farm on here. It looks like you start with quite, oops, did not want to jump in that. A lot of nice equipment, quite frankly, way bigger than we need right now. Obviously, we just have, looks like the 5 fields, 4 of them are pretty small and 1 is undeveloped, and it's pretty small on its own. So we definitely do not need gigantic equipment right now, but for sure nice that they started you with it if you wanted to. We're just gonna sell it all. That we could arguably keep, right? That's just a trailer. That's a big trailer. We're just gonna sell it all. We're just gonna start with New Year. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it. Probably could have zoomed in some here. Would have made this process slightly easier. Alright. Here's where hopefully we get a fair amount of money out of the combines. I mean, at this point, we've gotten a ton of money anyway, so really can't complain. Do we sell? Do we sell it all? We do not. Obviously, we have the heads. The corn head, I'm almost thinking about keeping this. We're not going to keep. We want one with a. We want one with a carriage on it, or the wheels. We want to look at it. We do not want to have a separate trailer there. Barns we're probably going to swap out as well. Might not be a horrible time to do that right now as we have everything off the farm, but we're probably not looking at building out a whole new setup right this minute. I think that gets rid of everything, which is $3.2 million. We did have 100,000 to start with, so that's quite a bit. The debate is do we get rid of this or do we keep it? I don't know. We need to go in and look now and see about buying some new equipment. Small tractors, I don't think we got anything in the new DLC, so we probably won't be picking up any new small tractors today. No, don't think so. Do have a few mods in. We will be, adding or taking out mods as we go about. We'll just keep it all updated on there. So new Plains and Prairies tractors. Looks like that is going to be our first one. So let's grab one of those. We're going to go with the high horsepower version, right? What are we at? 195 at 272. Let's just go as big as we can. What do we got for tire options here? Might not be a horrible option to go with some narrow tires on something, just because then we could have the spray option. I don't know. We get a wide with weights. No wide with weights. Let's just go with wide tires for now. Do that. We'll leave the 3-point on the front because we have no idea really what we're going to use with this. We're going to put the attachers on here. I don't think so. We're going to get rid of license plates. We don't want to do that. We're going farm equipment. Cool. Alright, no color options or anything on this one, just what it is what it is, so I guess that will be our first tractor. What are we at? 272 horsepower. Alright, let's buy that. Awesome, cool. What else do we get? We might as well buy a couple while we're in here, although we need to buy equipment to go along with this stuff. So let's take care of some of that. Where do we need to start? We need a plow. So let's buy that and we'll buy a plow. We're going to need a plow. Let's see. That is a giant plow. Let's start with a smaller plow. This is way cheaper, way easier to run. Definitely a mod. These are just kind of a pain. Don't do any real ground. I mean, they do, but they are so slow, so we're just going to take this one on the big end. And do we want to try to turn something yellow to go with it? How does that look? That looks horrible. We're not going to do that. Doesn't look horrible, just not the look we're going for. So we'll keep that. That's fine. Stock colors. Bam. All right. And we definitely have enough horsepower. No, we don't have enough horsepower. That's not going to pull that plow. Alright, well, it'll at least bring the plow back. That's fine. We're just going to use that for pulling wagons anyway, probably. Mainly, it's going to be our field runner, I would think, off of the start. We need a bigger tractor, which that's cool, because we were hoping for a couple of those. So... Alright, skipping by all this, this is where we get into the new DLC, the Plains and Prairies, there we are. This is going to be a bigger, so this is going to be able to pull our plow. for sure. What's the big horsepower option on this one? Up to 400. So from 3 to 400. Again, we'll go with Michelin's. Medium. We get wide tires. No. Medium tire. Wow. Alright, some different tire options there. What are we going to take? That's probably not a horrible option if we're going to use it to plow. That gives us the front weight, which is fine. We're going to go with US. So then this will be like our plow. Probably not really going to be our plow tractor though. I generally don't like having the rear. That would not be a horrible option in a way for us to go. I think we'll just go with that for now. Forget it. We'll just run that. Pick that up. New tractors. Alright, and then we get into these, which, wow, alright. So there's the big guy, is that what that is going to be? Wow. The big bud's just cheaper and more horsepower. But we aren't going to mess with that for now. We're going to turn around and stick to the new DLC tractors. That's kind of the idea. We'll mess around with big mod tractors later. This one 365. This one going to be 470, so a little more horsepower there. So what was the advantage to this one? Speed. Wow, these are slow. Alright, so that's going to be our get out there. What are we at here? 12 miles an hour. This one's super slow too. 600 horsepower though. That's where our big power is going to come in. So we definitely have room to grow. I guess we'll grab one more. Let's go ahead and grab. Wow, that's way cheaper. So this was much more expensive of a tractor. Suppose we could pick up a big Ford. That'll replace our 3 tractors that we lost. Narrow twins. What are our options here? Whoa. Triple wheels. That's not horrible. Probably makes it a little easier to get in and out of things. This is pretty wide, gonna be massive space consuming. Let's just go with, I think we'll go with this for now. Additional weights. We probably don't need any of that at this point. Maybe we will. We're not going to change the rims. Let's get rid of the plate. Great. Alright. And we'll buy one of those. Bam. That'll do it for now. We don't need huge monsters. That'll get us started with those. We got the plow. Let's turn around and jump over. Probably get some of the equipment out of the way. This is the shop. Let's take a look at what we got going on there. Oh, John Deere. John Deere shop. Not really unpacked. Looks like they're still moving in themselves. Alright, so here we go. This is what we are at. This one is probably going to be our plow for now. So let's go ahead and grab up the plow with that. the, alright, fold that up. That Ford probably does plow just as well as this will, though this will go a little further away from the farm. That Ford at 12 miles an hour, we probably aren't going to be traveling too far with that one until we get a little boy for it. That thing is going to be one slow drive across a big map. So let's try to get some of the equipment home, and then we'll see where we're at. A few more trailers, tons of equipment to get. Obviously early in the game, that's not going to fit well in there, and it's not going to fit well in there either, even if we lower it. So we will just park it alongside the barn. I wonder if we should almost just get rid of the barns, but we're not going to yet. We need to see all of what we're going to need, and at this point we just don't have any idea. Just figured, honestly, with the new DLC, it was a good time to start with the new tractors from that. So that's the plan, and really the only plan. So okay, we have that in. We are also gonna need, let's see, we got a plow, then we got to be able to do lime, I suppose, and we got to be able to plant. So let's get a planter or a seeder. The seeder for the new DLC is this. The problem here is that this is 25.6 meters, which is absolutely gigantic compared to the land that we have, right? And this isn't gonna like yeah, we're just gonna have to do something else with that. So we'll grab, it's a really expensive, this can do just about everything. We do want to use this because it's the new implanter. We need a seeder though. That is not, just sold our seeder. This is the one we just sold. Probably shouldn't have sold that right off of the bat. You know what? We are going to turn around and just go with one of these, and then we'll play around with the new equipment as we get there. So let's throw one of these together. Triangle, sure. Beacon, yeah. Brands, we'll just go with whatever is on it. Rear hitch, we want one of those. Capacities, this is where this one, we'll just go with that. That's gonna upsize it quite a bit, but not insane. This one you can obviously go crazy with. We're just gonna actually leave the color. I don't think we're gonna turn around and mess with this one too much. Get rid of the plate on the back, and then go from there. Yeah, let's perfect. That's fine. That'll let us get seed in the ground, so we'll go grab one of the tractors and bring that back. Be a bit of a process actually setting all this up. You know what, that is going to be not for that. This will look better with the planter. Maybe this will be our planter tractor just because why not? Give it a shot. The old Ford here. Let's take a look around. Didn't look around in the versatile. Oh, that's cool. Nice. we go. A little different than driving around the old trains. There we go, hooked up and ready to rumble. This thing is not 12 miles an hour. 14. We're not winning any races like that. And the slug across the map would be horrible. So this is going to be our local tractor. Looks good. I'll give it that. It's a good looking tractor. Probably going to function just fine. Looks like we are able to probably. We should have just maybe kept it down here and planted these fields right off the bat. But then, I don't know. I don't know if, we're actually going to buy our farm. Maybe we should just keep it right here and plant these, or I don't know, we might want to plow everything first just so we know where we're starting. Get everything started fresh before we put anything in the ground. At least the advantage right now is we don't have to do anything because we have nothing growing. We don't have a harvester. Demand is light. Stress-free farming this, getting everything started. To pick out, buy a bunch of new equipment. In fact, one could argue this might be the most profitable time that the farm has. We are millionaires and could simply retire right now. Alright, I think we'll just keep this easy. Try this one in here. We probably won't even disconnect it because we'll be using this hopefully shortly. What else do we need? I suppose we're going to need to do lime and whatnot. What's the state of any of our fields? Let's go look at soil here. Okay, so we have these, which do definitely need lime. These do not, so we could get into those. In fact, this field is half fertilized. Do we have anything? Nothing is growing though, right? These are surrounded by grass. Well, that's convenient. So if we just turn all of this 15, oh yeah, that's with that. So at most this is like 6, 7, 10. We could go grass. We could be grass farmers. Alright, so what do we got? We got our planter, we got that. We are definitely gonna need lime. But then we don't even have a way to get lime. We'd have to put that in. Lime, what else do we need to plant? We gotta roll, plow, weed. For putting grass in, we don't actually have to even worry about so much of that stuff, so we could just turn around and put grass, put grass in it and roll it, right? And then we're good to go. The fields don't need lime, so they should be good there. We do need a way to get seeds. Just trying to think of all the things you need here. Lots of stuff. That's what we need. Is a lot of stuff. We are going to need a spreader for lime. We're going to need a roller. We could just put, yeah, there's the invisible roller that'll go on that, which is super cheap. We could do. I don't think we're gonna do that, although we could do that. Probably should have done that. Whatever, we know we need a wagon, so let's just buy a wagon and get that other. Well, we're gonna need a roller anyway, so let's buy a roller. This roller is really not super great, but yeah, we'll just go with that for now. Horsepower 275, so again high horsepower requirements. We probably should have just bought a trailer with this one. You know what? That's gonna be one of those things. We're just gonna write off to a loss. Let's buy our trailer. Although we need lime. But we don't need lime for those. Oh, there's so much stuff to buy at the start of the game that it's like, what? Alright, let's buy a trailer. We don't even need a trailer right now though, so let's not worry about the trailer. Alright, so let's just bring the tractor home. Nah, because we need a, you know what, we need a spreader. We know we need a spreader, so let's just buy one. That was the idea, right? Get some of the equipment home. Seed, not a seed spreader. We need, and I think we are just gonna go with one of these. This one is totally unrealistic. What is this one? Realistic? Unrealistic. Oh, that one does manure and everything. We're not gonna worry about that. Twins. No. Design. US capacity. What is 2 times? We're going to do some big fields. So let's just go absolutely blatantly unrealistic and not worry about it. Will be what we'll do there. And we'll go black. Keep the frame. What? This says that the frame is gray. How is the front? Alright. I think we'll go with diamond plate on there, right? Yeah, why not? And then the cover. Green tarp, blue tarp. We'll just throw blue tarp on it. This, let me see, how does that look? This probably looks better with green then. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Although we could put a black tarp on top. Might look even better. Definitely does. Looks cleaner. Alright, I think we'll go with that. Cool design, color, rims. I don't think we're going to mess with the rims. This one. No back plate. No plates at all. I wish it would just stay on there. We wouldn't have to take the plate off of everything. Alright, cool. Let's buy it. Buy it. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. Buy, buy, buy. Might as well drive it home with something. We don't want to be coming back empty-handed. That was the idea. Almost drove the tractor back without anything. Don't want to do that. Alright. The setup is crazy here. So I think with this, we're going to turn around and actually go out and get in the field and do something. Whoa. That is huge compared to the tractor. I didn't even realize that. Probably working out okay because it's empty. So this tractor, not huge. Everything else pretty big. This one is definitely not. So this will be kind of our little guy. Probably our trailer runner for the time being. Alright. Let's leave that there. Take it over. Let's go see what the size difference actually is in these. Woo. Sprite little thing. Compared to, I didn't think any of them were going to be that little bit. It is quite a bit smaller. Alright, good to go. I guess it is quite a bit smaller. Let's go see about plowing something. So if we are gonna, thing is, I don't think we need to plow. If we needed to plow, this would be up. Let's get rid of all of these. I claim to be no expert at this game, just so we're clear on that. We will be learning a lot as we go along, I have no doubt. So we're not going to worry about actually plowing, or should we? No, we're not going to worry about it. It's just grass. We do need some seeds, though. So seed and fertilizer we're going to need. So our solutions for those are, we are going to not just go buy. We could go randomly buy, but we're not going to do that. So somewhere on our farm here, which I think we're just going to stick up on this end, we will put in some holding or silos for stuff. We already have gas over here. Let's go. We need one of these for seeds, and then we're gonna need, what else? Seeds and fertilizer. Ah! It's gonna take me a bit to get with the build stuff here. That's for sure. Alright, let's see. Gonna drop there. Gonna buy it there. And then we could stick this one probably closer to the end. That way we can pick this stuff up on the way out of here. Alright, that came out okay. And then we're gonna need liquid fertilizer. Same. So we're gonna fill and we're gonna drop that way. Same. Let's give some room in here, and then drop that. Everything come out okay. Looks like everything came out okay. We'll just give things a little smooth out here to make sure we didn't do anything crazy. Alright, now let's go over and get some stuff. Oh, we are gonna need a roller. I should have bought a roller. This is the only time we get to roll the grass field. Jump out of there. Looks great. Sounds great. Like it. Alright, seeds. We're gonna need seeds, so let's just fill the thing. Fertilizer. This can get crazy expensive. So let's not fill the thing. Let's just do there for now. Keep the cost down. This is what we need. And start filling that up. This is going to take a hot minute. I think we can shut that off. Probably save some fuel, save some wear and tear. Will be the plan. Well, we're actually at that. We might as well go ahead and buy. We should have just kept the roller. Buy the roller, get rid of the roller. Buy the roller, get rid of the roller. No, and if we have that, we might as well just buy this. Let's just buy it. It's the invisible roller. Let's just buy it. Why not? What the heck? Fun, friendly farming anyway. We're not looking for anything crazy, so we might as well just buy it. Let's grab a tractor. We'll run over and get it. It'll be faster. This again, where our little guy is going to come in handy. Let's hit it. nothing super fast here, but it's definitely faster than that one. So we'll run over quick and grab that. Whoa. Alright. Yeah. Gotta watch that one. At least we didn't have to call in a wrecker on day one. Welcome to the neighborhood. Alright. Yeah, should have picked this all up at one time, but such as it is. Assuming that's going to be our pickup side. And then it turns invisible. Great mod to throw on the back of the planter. I have turned around and used it before. It's great, actually. It's a little bit of a bummer that it's invisible instead of just like a drop-down roller that goes on the back, but the use of it is, whoa! Oh well. That's probably a horrible spot for that to sit, actually. Alright. Let's just leave that there. That'll work. Again, the setup. Getting everything going, I think, is such a big part of this game. Definitely have played it before. I have a fair amount of time in 22, and 25 obviously just came out this last year. End up with tons of time, I'm sure, in this game. Alright, we already bought the seeds. Whoa. Let's see if we can just back this up without losing control of things here. Alright, bam. Sweet. We did grab the roller there, so that worked out nice. Now let's see if we can get seeds in here. I suppose probably actually should have done those the other way around. Would have had us out. There we go. Grab the seeds. Don't know how much this holds all together. How that's all split. It's a lot though. Alright, that's probably enough. That's a lot of seeds. Oh, of course. Excuse me, dude. Alright, let's head off over to our grass field and see what we get. Not sure how old this Ford tractor is. It does not give me the feel that it's a brand new tractor by any stretch of the word, but it's new for us and it's getting the job done for now. Alright, look out. Wait a minute. Let's bring that down so we actually pay attention to what we're on. There, we need to lower the roller. Cool. Now, let's get to where we can actually see stuff. Corn? We don't want corn. We want grass. Nice thing with this thing is it plants everything, so we could just do whatever, but grass is going to be the order of today. Alright, let's see. This, we just want one. Good, good. let's see how all this is gonna go. There we go. Working and doing what we needed to do. So this is gonna get our farm underway. As I say, we definitely will be using mods. I mean, we're gonna try to take up the whole map. Probably, I don't know. Looks to me like there's over 1,200 acres anyway, and that's an awful lot to be farming. So we will be using plenty of mods here and there to help in the process of that. We will be probably doing some co-op farming as well, as we do know several people who have the game and that we do play with. So we'll hopefully be getting in some good multiplayer co-op stuff to go along with everything. I suppose we could just do both fields at one time. Yeah, let's just do both fields at one time. You know what? Let's do it. We already have everything going. We are going to do grass. Grass is going to pay out all the time and let us get started, which that's really, you know, what we want to do. We want to start making some money and start expanding the farm as fast as possible. So alright, bring up the plow there. Tractor seems to be doing alright, no complaints. Definitely hilly terrain and stuff like that around here, but it's working at a good speed. There we go. Getting that in. So let's get this planted. Looks like we did use up a fair amount of that fertilizer. Actually, a couple thousand liters anyway. Seed, it doesn't appear to be barely using any seed at all, which that's cool. Alright. Lift that up, shut that off, and fold it up. That should at least get those in. Nice. Select that all. Hopefully nothing comes up there. We will need one more state of fertilizer on that field, and that one already had one, so that takes care of that. At least gets us some grass fields in. get those up and started off of the bat. And then I think, what else do we have to do? We have 2 more fields over there. I'm not sure what we're going to do with. I suppose we could put grass in those as well. Same. Grass fields could just be driving across. I suppose I don't have to be driving through the ditch. But who knows? There are collectibles on this map. Little flowers. As far as I know, they're all flowers. So we will be keeping an eye out for those. Alright, zoom this back to the farm here. See, yeah, this will definitely not be a far away tractor in the long run for us. Gonna be a close to home. Ooh, you're rude driving right down the middle of the road, bro. Alright, fine. School bus first. That was really rude. The car is driving right down the middle of the road too. Move over, man. This is farm neighborhood, dude. So let's just keep the idea open that the traffic may not be around for a very long period of time. Bringing that back. Oh, hey, didn't hook up. Our combine is going to cost a good chunk of money. So I'm almost thinking we should turn around and go in and pick up the combine soon, just so that we take that money out and don't get into a bite where we all of a sudden don't have the ability to buy a combine. Wait, not in tools. We need containers. A little lime station. What's that? Fertilizer. We want lime. Again, we are going to drop it in kind of that same fashion. We'll just stick it a little further down here. Somewhere in there should be, what's our spacing there actually? Something in there should be okay. Cool. All the infrastructure of the farm. I'm gonna spend money constantly at this point. Smooth enough. That will go there. Alright, lime. We'll just buy the whole thing. Full, cool. Yeah, let's throw that in there. What else could we put in here? All it says is lime. Oops. Stop stopping it. What else can we buy in here? And nothing. Lime, so okay. Just checking. We're gonna get a bunch of it in here just so that we don't have to deal with coming back. That was the whole idea in the 100,000 storage. Lime is always a pain. Lime's one of those ones, I'll be honest, I usually turn it off just so I don't have to deal with it, and I don't want to do that this time. So we are gonna lime the fields. Gonna turn around and do it with as easy a method as possible. That's the reasoning behind this big lime spreader. Alright, that should be plenty. We're talking about a couple of little fields here. We'll worry about filling up the rest of this thing at a later date. Might as well go out this side right here and head on down to our field. We're gonna gonna need some straw. This is gonna be way further out because this thing has a huge distribution. Yeah, see, look. That'll be perfect. Let's just turn it on and go. Should be great. Nice and easy. There we go. We're gonna have to get that corner. Let's just do a donut. Make sure we get the corners nice. Suppose we probably could have even limed it before we plowed it, and that would have just worked it into the ground, but no issues here. We will be liming the fields, but we will be liming them easy, which is kind of the idea. A lot of this stuff eventually. We will just kind of up capacities and things like that. We're not going to go absolutely insane on everything, but like I said too, it's more about having fun than it is about trying to be, you know, simulator accurate or something. As far as I see it, there we go. Nice. Alright, that works. What did we use? Probably 7,000. This tractor just not winning any races no matter what it's doing or all on or on, but it is working. Not a bad starting set of tractors, I don't think. I think it'll give us plenty of room to still like upgrade to other things, but definitely get things going and underway. Of course, we had to miss a little piece anyway. That's fine. Some nice fields on this map currently, nothing gigantic, which we are definitely going to look to change. Try to go for some big fields. Have to bear with the small field starts, just kind of how it works. This map does, if you see off there in the distance, you see a big rock formation there. So this map does have some rock breaking contracts and a debris crusher. Not a ton of industries on this map. A couple of different sell points out there, and I think I want to say like 6 or 7 industries. So definitely some chains out there. We will be adding production chains to the map as we go. See what we see is needed or would be fun to do. There we go. That in there, and one little chunk left. Sweet. There, that takes care of that. Not horrible lime action going on there. Not bad on the smaller fields either. It definitely can. I mean, if you look at it, we still burnt through probably 13,000 liters or something of lime right there. So, again, not a pain because we have the big spreader with, quite frankly, unrealistic holding number, which makes it not bad. Otherwise, the lime, you know, you can spend a fair amount of time, trips, and all of that. For sure. Alright. We might as well just kind of leave this over in this area for the time being. And then I think we'll park this one up now. First work on that one. Good deal. And then we're just going to jump over to the Ford here. And head on out to the field. Again, they're close by, so this one not going to be too bad. Oh, you hit the wrong button. I have to decide what we want to plant here. Yeah, why not? We'll do. We can plant wheat and canola. Canola is not going to do good for a field like this, though. Too small. At least in my opinion. You know what? Let's just go. Let's not worry about. If we don't worry about all of the whatevers of the thing, and we go, we're not playing with seasons on, so we're not gonna worry about seasons. That if we do, of course, oats we can't feed to anything. Alright, let's do, we'll do one field of wheat, and by the time we get that in, we'll figure out what we're gonna do with the other one. Say we're really taking off super slow there. Not gonna be able to do a donut in here. Let's get this backed up into the corner. There we go. Decent enough. That'll let us get out of here. Again, these fields, that's why I think in the long run, these are going to end up being more like animal pens. I suppose we could have turned around and taken out that fence there and probably just turned these into one field. But again, they kind of just have more of the feel of animal pens to me, and I wouldn't mind seeing them going into that. So don't want to take out the fences. Alright, there we go. Cool. Working through the world. These are pretty little fields when you consider the size of the equipment, though, here. That was just a horrible idea. Never gonna push back here the way we needed to. Probably just wedged it into the corner way more than I wanted to. We will pull ourselves out of this, though. Watch. There we go. Now we're good. Jamming up in the corners is not really the way to go about doing this. There was so better ways to be done, but we got it done. Nevertheless, so we'll get this in. That'll do wheat. Oh, what? Whoa, is it? really very different tractor than I am used to running for sure. I don't know how much of that's me, how much of that's the tractor. How much if we're over? I don't think we're over our power here. This thing should have plenty of power. Not the most responsive when it comes to turning. I'll clean that up. Not that big a deal. All of this equipment going to be much friendlier on big fields. So I can't imagine. This is probably going to be the one crop that actually gets run through these fields, let's be honest. By the time these get harvested, we should be on to bigger and better things. But we want to go ahead and get something in off of the bat. As we will not have the ability to turn them into animal pens for quite a while. Normally I would just be like, seeing the unarticulated nature of this tractor does not necessarily help the fact here. Why does it turn? It just turns back so slow like that. Works though. And then it's, getting used to your tractor's turn. So again, probably much more my fault than the tractor's fault. And in a wide open field like it's probably designed for, this one more so than the little field that we're working here. Alright, let's go clean up our little 2 spots that we have problems with. Alright. Yeah, this is not a speed demon, this tractor. Probably good for us right now though too. Alright, there we go. That one is in. Sadly, I think we're gonna have to fold this up in order to get out to the other field, even though we're right next door. Again, a perfect case for just taking out those fences. But I can't move fast, so don't try to pressure me, bus driver. Relax yourself. Alright, here we go. I need to feel. I'm not sure I'm totally in love with that field opening. Let's just actually get out here, unfold this thing. Let's do. Let's put some sorghum in here. Give us the option for chickens or whatever we could want to use. The sorghum pour, who knows? But it's going to give us a crop much faster. Of course, that is not going to give us a ton. I wonder if I should do this. Let's not do sorghum. We'll do oats. Let's rock it. Maybe we'll have horses before we know it. Again, I think this time we're not going to worry about, like, how we plant this field. Let's be honest. This field is going to be lucky to survive one season. It is definitely not going to be replanted. So let's just crank this thing out. Or if anything, we'll get picky about the corners afterwards. But we're not going to try to worry about doing too much with the corners on this. We're just going to plant it and get it in. This tractor would not be my favorite for planting. Between the articulation and just the swing of the nose on this thing would not see really hard to judge where this one is gonna be. That's good enough on that edge, actually, as far as I'm concerned. See, then it just really doesn't like to take off very fast. Yeah, this would not. Definitely turns weird. Probably spend a little time getting used to it before we make a final judgment on this one. But early reports say this tractor just feels a little weird. It's like it's delayed in the way it turns so much. And it seems like it's taking off crazy in a turn, but then it's not. And you would think with the articulation, but it's working. It's gonna get the job done off of the bat. It's gonna have to get the job done off the bat. It looks cool. Sounds good. That, and then this is not exactly a small planter, and this is kind of a small field, so that makes for an interesting combination. Oh, you're not going to shove into the corner like that. Alright, let's take off the edge, and then we won't worry about the rest too much, because otherwise I'll start worrying about it, and I don't want to do that. That's fine. It's really not, though. It's gonna bother me if I don't plant that. Yeah, there's no way. With that little piece up there, I'm probably okay leaving. That, I'm really not. And now we're just wasting. Should have turned off the fertilizer so I wasn't just driving around the field with that on. Alright, that's probably good enough. There we go. It's always nicer to have the fields cleaned. Ooh. I think I run right over the fence probably. You know what? Let's just do it the easy way. Watch the easy way not be the easy way. Are you really not? See, then this tractor just says no. No way to bring it because of the articulation. Like, it just says no way to bring itself back like you want it to. Alright. Good enough. I think we're just going to pull it out of the field that way. I just wanted to clip that. I can't believe it wouldn't swing it. I thought the fence would pivot it, but not going to pull it off and not going to worry about the headache of it. And then there, because again, this tractor just swings really weird, so I don't think this tractor is not going to be the one probably for me doing that, or at least in those small spaces. I think we'll call that good enough. Anyway, for our first plantings, get this thing back, go pick up our combine, so again we don't turn around and forget the money there. If anything, I'll be real, if I was going to continually plant fields this size, I would definitely have a much smaller setup. The tractor, the planter, the whole thing, unneeded for fields this size. But I don't anticipate working fields this size for very long, so that was the idea of picking up this planter seeder, which in hindsight may have just been a mistake, and we could have gotten a much smaller, cheaper one probably to get started with what we got going on, but we got it in there. And again, those probably not going to be mainstay fields to plant for us, but there we go. Alright, so the plowing and the weeding is done. We already have 2 stages of fertilizer on those. Must have had one on it already, or it could have had 2. We do put one down obviously with the planter, being that we have the direct drill with the fertilizer there, even though I like to plow to prep the fields. This is done now. It's just between the articulation and the way that this cedar planter likes to swing anyway. This thing has a big swing on it. Alright, get that over here. For now, we're just going to leave this tractor on there because we're not going to be using that for much else, I don't think. Done. Okay, that gets our field in, and then let's go buy. We gotta go buy a harvester. What kind of harvester do we want? We did have huge money. Ooh, it's always so difficult to know. We do. Let's take a look at one thing. One thing we already know is that we do have do any of the John Deere headers have, or are they all trailers? EU American design, but I don't see wheel options on any of them. Where here we have transport wheel options. So that's a thing. we do have. That's true. You already heard the header anyway. So whether you go John Deere or not doesn't really matter. What are we looking at here, horsepower wise? And these are super expensive. Super expensive combine. Okay. This is a gigantic combine. Brazilian exhaust, US exhaust. There are so many things. Oversized signs. Yep. Let's do that. Combine number one. Probably end up with a bunch of these. Who knows? Alright. We are going to go with the big green tank. I think we got everything. Yeah. We'll do that. Pipe. That should be fine. I think. That's gonna let. Yeah, that should be fine. And let's get rid of the plate. Always so much to pick on these things. Cool. That is hugely expensive and even more expensive than we sold the other ones for. So that's definitely going to eat into our money. But this thing has a huge amount of holding and is going to let us do our thing. Plus, we sold 2 combines and we're going to buy one with it. So there we go. That's what we're going with. That's going to be our starting combine. And then we are going to need a grain head for it. So let's buy one of those. While we're at it, we do already have a corn head, but we're going to need a grain head. So we want one that has transport wheels on it because I don't want to deal with the trailer. So we'll do that. We'll debrand it, and then we will turn it John Deere green. is what we will do. We don't want pineapple yellow, we just want John Deere yellow. Yeah, that'll work. We'll go with black there. Rim color will change. And I think that should probably do it. And we'll pick that up, yeah. 16 meters by. Boom. There. Then we'll go grab those and get those back to the farm. So we do have a really nice combine instead of having multiple combines. And we get a cool patriotic theme on this. Obviously you can theme it for whatever origin there. I don't know how that pipe's gonna be. Is gonna be the only question. Hopefully we get away with it. Yeah, it's not hitting the thing. Should be fine. Cool. Get this one back to the farm. That was a good chunk of our money. The sad part is we probably will need several of these. As we get going. If we're going to work all of the acreage, but we're going to see, we definitely need the big holding and the big head. Back to normal. Alright, we will probably just, yeah, let's just put the head over here for now. Don't have to fold this up or anything. Nice big permanent fixed bell there. So we'll get that parked in here. That'll give us the ability to go get some stuff that we can harvest. Now whatever we want, corn and wheat or thrash header, whatever, however you want to look at it. Okay, cool. We do have a ton of harvestable land out there, things like that. We obviously have a lot more equipment to buy. Let me see, that gets our combine, our planters, so we can take it out of the ground, we can put it in the ground. We have a plow. So far we definitely need a lot more equipment. We need trailers, we need runners. I suppose we could buy a trailer at least, and that'll let us get other things going, or do we buy a truck and trailer to take it off of the field in that fashion? That's also another option, because we do have, I mean, this holds 25,000. I don't know. I think in that case we'll probably start worrying about that stuff on the next one. I think that was a pretty good start to getting things going. At least we have all of our fields in and our starting little farm, and a lot of way to go. We have grass in. We did do a little bit of oat field. Not sure how that's going to work out with our own field restrictions that we have going on, and then wheat. But that's going to give us a little start to go in. This is the cattle farm, or we're talking about farmland 86 up here. So that's a almost, 16 acre piece of land with a cow barn and stuff like that on it. So we will look to get up into that direction, and then we have tons of field out here. So where we still have $1 million, we could pick up plenty more field and start working with it or something. Not sure the direction that we're going. Just kind of wanted to get things started and the farm underway, so we have our fields in. and some basic equipment at home. But I think with that one, we're going to call it a win and a start. Say thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel. Y'all have a great day.